Tunnel Rat alert. Civil defense information will be broadcast at 6:40.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Y2K, how can we prepare?
Stop a few of their machines and radios. Throw them into darkness for a few hours.
We are fighting for our lives. My family must survive.
Food for 5 years. 1,000 gallons of gas, air filtration, water filtration.
Coming at you from the frozen tundra that is East Central Alberta, Canada, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, and Odyssey. Welcome back to the workshop where we create community, find freedom, promote preparedness, and share success. I am Toolman Tim, and today is August the 20th, 2023, and this is episode 356 of Workshop Radio. How the hell is everyone out there this evening? We're going to open up the lines. One step closer just said, who's on the wild card line tonight? We will see. I guess I'm technically east of the Rockies where I am. Barely, but I am. So the phone lines are open. I shared and pinned the invite link this evening. If anybody wants to come on and chat, I've got tons of content prepared for everyone. Either way, but we always seem to do pretty good when we open up the phone line. So let's get the announcements out of the way, and we'll go from there. Number one, this evening, Sunday evening, our sponsor is Amy Dingman of A Farmer's Kind of Life, and also now Lifesteaders. Listened to her episode this evening, actually, called A New House, and I thought, I don't think she's moving, but she's kind of launching a second project, a second community, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of sprung out of what she's done over A Farmer's Kind of Life, whereas A Farmer's Kind of Life is going to just basically be strictly homesteading, but lifesteading is going to be the stuff that she's become famous for, kicking you in the ass with a smile on her face and telling you how it is and inspiring you to do great shit. So she's not changing the name of the podcast, at least not that I know of. So add her, A Farmer's Kind of Life, to your podcast feed. As of the last year or so, she's kind of cut back on what she puts out, so it's not a big commitment. But 15 to 20 minutes once a week, and there's just something special about what she shares. Number two, guys, the Midwest Preparedness Project is in Perry, Kansas. I'm going to be speaking there on the poverty mindset. That is a free event, camping on site, October 6th and 7th. So if anybody's within a day's drive, come by and hang out with some like-minded folk, because that's all we do. It's 3/4 the reason I do this is to hang out with like-minded folk and hopefully inspire people to do better and to do great things, because I had so many people pushing me and inspiring me over the years. So if you're around, come by to Midwest Preparedness Project. And finally, patchofthemonth.co, guys. You see my Toolman Tim patch. That's just a taste of what's been out there for patches. This month was actually inspired by Dale Gribble on King of the Hill, and it was guns don't kill people, the government does. So if you're looking to get, support the workshop, value for value exchange, $10 a month, $100 a year, patchofthemonth.co, sign up there. All right, that's it for announcements. I got a couple of quick discussion points, but that's it. I see Byron Roberts in, one step closer, Martinson family. Good to see everybody. So first off, tonight's going to be, like I said, open line. So if anybody wants to pop on, I will continue to throw the phone line with air quotes around it, the StreamYard invite link, if you want to come on. And you don't have to come on with your face. You can just come on audio. But a couple of things here. First off, I've had a couple of people. I need to back up a little. I didn't realize that so many people enjoyed the podcast on YouTube. I saw that I was getting a lot of replays, but I didn't realize that there's so many people out there who that's the way they consume their podcast on a regular basis, which is great. And I had somebody message me the other day, and they're like, Tim, they said, I don't mind ads on the replays, but here's the deal. And of course, YouTube's a bit of a pain when it comes to live stream replays, because number one, you have to keep YouTube open. You can't close the app. You have to keep your phone on. And the skippable ads apparently are a real pain for people who want to listen to the podcast in live stream form, but on YouTube. So I've been trying to figure out how to make this work so that it can be monetized. Here's the deal. I don't make a whole lot of money from even the live stream replays, but I do make a little bit. And so I'm going to try going forward to try these overlay ads. So if anybody's watching the show this evening on a desktop, if you happen to see any banners come up and just ones that you can hit the X and close if you want. Let me know, just so I know. And if anybody's listening to this on the replay, let me know if it worked for you, because I turned off skippable ads. Anyway, I'm not going to go into the whole thing. It's just a real pain in the ass to get it all figured out. And I've been working hard to do it for you. But so I'm pretty sure the solution is these floatable display ads. So they are there. So let me know if you see them. That's it. Cool. So I had a section. I wanted to open up with another Stranger Than Fiction section, because I ran across a news story tonight. Again, I seem to be running into these all the time, and maybe some of you have heard about it, but I did not. Apparently, there's quite a traffic jam at the Panama Canal. Did anyone else out there hear about that? And of course, my mind went back to, I believe it was last year when the Suez got backed up. It's pretty bad when any canal gets backed up, if you know what I mean. But of course, the Suez was all about, you had a boat that was literally jammed in there, and it was getting worse and worse and worse by the day. So I thought, that's where my mind went. I thought, here we go, more shortages. And of course, the media is pushing the story. Hi, Michael Libby. Good to have you. The media is pushing the story. Of course, it's going to be shortages, and we all know where their blame goes every single time. So for those who haven't heard it, I was pretty interested to find out, but there is a, not a graveyard, but a parking lot of boats there right now. They're backed up about 200, which is way more than normal. They're getting somewhat, Backwoods says, I'm not shocked. I'm sure it was on someone's apocalypse bingo card. And it kind of is, but I want to break down the facts real quick, just so we have an idea, in case you hear a whole bunch of other stuff from media sources. You're like, oh yeah, here we go. So what have they done? Well, it's intentional, because I learned something today, and some people will probably laugh at me for this. I assumed that the Panama Canal was filled with salt water because it joins two saltwater bodies, right? I know. You assume, you know what they say, if you assume, it makes an ass out of you and me. Now, that probably shows my ignorance. Turns out it's not. Turns out it's gravity fed from a lake and a bunch of holding tanks or, reservoirs up on a mountain, and it's gravity fed. Okay, makes sense, kind of. But anyway, apparently there's a fairly high 80-some foot rise in the middle. Yeah, so one step says there's a lake in the middle. See, I learned something new. So this is what I do. When I see a news story and something's like, man, that's weird, I got to look into it and figure it out. So I learned that. And of course, Panama, like everywhere this year, has been having below seasonable rain levels. So they're dry. And they use 50 million gallons of water a day. And of course, my brain said, well, why couldn't you pump salt water up into these holding tanks? Well, it turns out if you try to do that, you're going to contaminate all of the surface water, the stored water, the drinking water. Not a good idea. So people smarter than me, of course, a century ago designed this. But anyways, you get 200 ships backed up. They cut the throughput from 36 ships to 32. So I didn't realize that it was that slow of a process either. 50 million gallons per day. Now, they are working on some issues there to kind of fix this problem. But they also have some kind of overflow ponds to collect some of the water, reuse it. But when they come down to it, they have a water shortage there right now. And in typical government fashion, 3 years ago, they put a bid out to increase the infrastructure that was there, some extra holding ponds, reservoirs, that sort of thing. A few months later, they canceled the accepted bid. It's now taken them almost 3 years to just put the bids out again. They knew this was kind of an ongoing problem that was coming ahead to the head. So once they get an accepted bid, they're still 4 to 5 years out to get anything up and running. So this new infrastructure is supposed to support Panama for another 50 years. So you'd think they would have, again, back to the old South Africa mindset from the show here a couple of weeks ago, right? Now, of course, One Step says, doesn't a Chinese company run the canal now? All I can tell you is that the people that were taking the bids was a Panama-based company. Whether there's, I can't tell you one way or the other beyond that. That's as far as my research went tonight. But of course, this is going to be pushed as, it's going to interrupt supply chains and all of that. And, it's going to have a moderate effect, but it's not going to be like the Suez Canal. So, hopefully not everybody gets their panties in a knot. You're going to say, well, why is that? Well, for number one, the Suez Canal puts 4 times the amount of traffic through it per day that the Panama Canal goes through. So number one, you're only dealing with 25% of the traffic going through there. Okay. Number two, we're not dealing with a blockage like we were with the Suez Canal, an infinite blockage. Like, you don't know how long, indefinite, right? You just don't know when it could or may be cleared. At this point, they've only reduced capacity about 10%. So 4 less boats can go through there per day. And they have a backlog because people were heading there ahead of time, expecting to be able to get through. So as companies switch routes and that sort of thing, it should settle its way down a little bit. But this is not going to be the Suez Canal. I mean, unless the entire thing dries up, and then you're going to lose 25% of what you lost with the Suez Canal. So always something to be aware of. It's great to hear these stories. When I see them go live, I like to dig into them and share them with you guys a bit. But it was interesting enough that I thought it was warranted to be shared. So, and Backwoods Butcher says they'll indict Trump for it soon. It's fine. Yeah, well, I think he's been indicted on just about everything else. So I was watching Leto's Law earlier today, and they were talking about a car dealership in North Carolina. The staff was indicted on over 400 charges. And from what I read and what I listened to going into it, basically they'd been buying wrecked cars from auctions, cars that had been written off for insurance purposes, and they were retitling them without going through the proper process and then selling them. This has been going on for a long time, but anytime you got a group of people facing 400 charges, I'm going to say you're probably going to go to jail for a little while. Kind of sucks, but yeah. So Michael Libby said since 1999. So back in, I believe it was 1903, the French government was trying to build the Panama Canal. And there was this, basically worker attrition. People were dying like crazy, and they were leaving because of cholera, yellow fever, things that were spread by mosquitoes. And they didn't really understand that a little mosquito could, kill a grown-ass man. So basically, they were running out of money. They had no workers. And the Americans come in and said, hey, guess what, guys? We'll take it over. So they bought the project from the French. They ran it until 1979. And then it looks like, so sometime between, they gave up full control in 79, and between 79 and 99, it seems like full control was eventually slid back over to the Panama people. So yes, 1999, Michael Libby, 100% correct. So yeah, interesting. I learned a lot about the Panama Canal tonight. And so I didn't expect to, but yeah, like I said, it's an issue. It's going to be in the news. It seems to be one of those that's just jumping up there. So there we are. Anybody wants to join at any point tonight, come on in. We'll talk. I'm going to keep working through. I got a bunch of questions I've been given from a whole bunch of people, kind of brought everything together. A few polls that I ran on YouTube. We're going to share the results from them. I'm drinking some nice 15-year-old or 16-year-old bourbon right now. I can't remember exactly what it is, but she's potent. Makes your eyes water. All right. So this one came from an email that I got recently, and it said, hey, Tim, questions about running your generator under load. I could use some of your help. I watched your videos on your Furman generator. I bought a GenerLink. It won't be installed by Ottawa Hydro for 6 to 8 weeks. That sounds about right. I ran my Furman unit with liquid natural gas with no load just to test it. All went well. It'll be 30 days old, and I want to test it under a load. I'm thinking of connecting 2 shop vacs, 2 fans, and a hairdryer. Is this enough? Also, down the road, when I need to load test every month, will I have to shut down my electricity and conduct a load test through GenerLink, or can I do it by just adding the items I identified? This will be a pain during the cold winter months. So first off, yeah, GenerLink's a great system, but no, you don't have to shut your power off. I wouldn't. Here's my thing. I mean, maybe once a year you could if you want to. I just want to make sure my generator is going to start. The GenerLink just sits there and does what it needs to do. It should be fairly reliable. Once a year, sure, if you want to, but once a year, you'll probably have a power outage that'll allow you to test it anyway. Hey, Jules, great to have you. So what's the key to keeping a generator running first? Run it every 2 to 3 months. I used to say, 5 to 10 minutes was good, but somebody smarter than me, Sean Mills, he says that 15 to 20 minutes minimum. And the main reason for that, and it makes 100% sense, is that you warm it up enough to blow the junk out of it. When you're just running it I always said to put a load on it, but I never ran the load. It would be 10 or 15 minutes, but I'd always recommend just, 5 or 10 minutes every 2 to 3 months. So yeah, put a load on it. I mean, what he has, 2 shop vacs, 2 fans, and a hairdryer. Yeah, that's plenty. That's going to give it a good little load. If you hear your generator working a little bit, it's good. That's really all you have to do. I like to run something on each of the electrical outlets simply to make sure everything's working. That's all. So yeah, I personally wouldn't hook it up through the GeneraLink. I don't hook mine up through the back feed except once a year to test it out, because that stuff just sits there. Can it fail on its own? Sure, it can. But the main thing is making sure that generator will start. Because here's the thing. If a generator starts and your GeneraLink malfunctions, you can always still run extension cords off your generator and get a bare minimum of power. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Every 2 to 3 months, at least 4 times a year, run it with a heavy load, 15 to 20 minutes. And that should be. And don't forget to keep your battery charged up. Get yourself a little trickle charger. To me, that has been a godsend. I just installed one on my Harbor Freight almost a year after buying it. So, you know, sometimes I'd say, do as I say, not as I do. And I was a little late on that. So there you go. All right. This one. So for those who are on Fountain, get a lot of traffic over there. For those who aren't, that's cool too. But Fountain.fm is a really nice podcast platform that allows you to send boosts, which are Satoshis, you know, the penny to the dollar Bitcoin, that sort of thing. I know that really simplifies it a lot, but you can send. What I love about it is that there is, you know, creator listener feedback over there, because up until that point, the only, hey, Tori, say hello. I got a Tori. Abby says hello, and say hello to your young man as well there, Tori. It's good to see you, and I hope you guys are staying safe. There's a lot of fires in Washington State, and unfortunately, they're mostly coming from Canada. So sorry about that. Anyhow, so we're gonna share the 5 best boosts I got in the last month on Fountain. I love it because, like I said, it's you know, back and forth sharing of content and comments and that sort of thing. So first one, this was Jen from Indy. I don't know who you are, Jen, but I bet you live in Indiana. That'll be my guess. But said, I love these evidence-based event analysis mixed with common sense advice. Thank you. That was episode 352, the 2003 blackout. Those disaster episodes have been some of my most well-received episodes, and they are by far some of my most enjoyable episodes. For whatever reason, my entire life, I've been passionate about history. I enjoy looking back on the things that we have done before and try to learn from the mistakes. So I love feedback on those episodes. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate it. And Gunfighter Concealment says it might not be coming from Canada. It could be coming from the lasers in the sky. Absolutely. And Martinson family says it's not our fault, buddy. It's climate change's fault. That's true. I'm just going to put it out there that the answer to that, we all know. Say it together. More taxes. So, oh, geez. Going to get deplatformed tonight. That's for sure. All right. Number 2, this one came from the Bosch. Not the boss. I'm not saying the boss with a lisp, but the Bosch, B-O-S-H. Simple and to the point. Thanks for the motivation. That was on episode 351, and I love those comments. That was titled, If I Had to Do It All Over Again. In other words, starting over from content creation. So thanks for the motivation there. T-Rex. I love this name. It's T-W-R-E-C-K-S. Sounds like a rather rowdy T-Rex. Love the portion on South Africa. It feels like we're heading that way as well. We need to build our systems and community now. That was episode 343, Nations Without Power. So that was, again, the South Africa episode. And I love that. That was, for whatever reason, it was an episode, a topic that was top of mind to me. And I really enjoyed talking about it. We're going to do a follow-up. I have a friend in town here who's from South Africa. I'm going to run the episode by him, get some feedback, and we'll do some more follow-up because I still feel like that's a story that people aren't talking about. And if I'm wrong, you know, correct me for it, guys, but I really do. All right. The next one, great name, Dodge Power, D-O-D-G-E Power. Person, man after my own heart, I'm going to guess. But back a couple of months ago, Becky and I did a Friday Night Live episode on strange sculptures and the world's largest, how every town has a world's largest somewhere. And I had mentioned these really funky looking statues in Omaha, Nebraska. And I was corrected by Dodge Power. Not Omaha. It's not Omaha, Nebraska. It's Council Bluffs, Iowa, that has the strange sculptures. That was episode 345. And I did some digging because once I had my mind on it, I thought, so these really strange looking sculptures. They're not as ugly as the pyramid, and this is legit truth, a pyramid of silver balls off the white mud in Edmonton, but they're still odd. You definitely see them when you're coming in on the interstate. They're called Paley's Odyssey. They're a modern art project talking about the man having a good night tonight, the relationship between land, air, sky, and light, made by an Arthur Paley from Rochester, New York. And what I thought was cool was he used a type of iron, a type of brass, so that as they oxidize, the iron goes to rust, the brass goes to green, and it gives it some really vibrant colors. Anyway, you want to look it up, go ahead. It was cool. Becky and I see it every time we spend the night in Council Bluffs, actually, which is the sister community to Omaha, Nebraska. Last one from there, from Boostergrams, was Jesse's Workshop. I like that. Not Jesse's Girl, but Jesse's Workshop. And he said, a boonie hat upgrade option would be great for the Patch of the Month Club. I agree. And if Yozik's listening, a Sticker of the Month Club would be a great upgrade as well. So into 2024, we got a lot of things coming. Over the winter is my time to put together some upgrades and things like that. I'm going to be home from November 1st through most of the winter. So look forward to a lot of really kind of neat happenings in the Patch of the Month Club starting January for sure. So stickers, one step closer says stickers. Yes, we're working on it. We got to figure out the logistics. I mean, I can do it. It's an excuse. I have a bunch of different things that I'm getting ready to do. I just haven't made the time. You know how they say, I haven't had the time? No. Truth be told is I haven't made the time to do it yet. So I've been running. So a few different things I've been doing on YouTube lately, guys. And one, I've been running some polls because I realized that I love answering polls. And whenever I'm on YouTube looking for something to watch, I'll always find somebody's random poll, and I just love to take them, or trivia questions, that sort of thing. So I've been running some, and it gives me some really good feedback from community members, gives me some good show ideas, and it's just a way to build community. So this one was fun. If you missed it, we did pretty good. This one, I think, had 50 or 60 respondents to it, which, geez, a year ago, if I would get 5 responses to a community post. So thank you, guys. But here's the question. And you know what? You guys can throw your answers in the live stream here tonight. But if money was no object, which of the following would you choose? Whole home solar power with battery bank, an underground bunker, a whole home generator with a year's supply of food, or a top of the line freeze dryer? Which one would you go with? I'm going to take a sip of bourbon. So it was let's start with the lowest. And I was kind of surprised on this. Top of the line freeze dryer was 2%. I get it. That was very specific. 16% for whole home generator with a year's supply of fuel. One step said solar, and you would be in the majority for sure. 29% said an underground bunker, which, the 14-year-old boy in me thinks is pretty friggin' cool. I joke with Becky all the time that I'm going to dig a bunker, but hey, Nat, the preparedness guy, great to see you, brother. If you're going to be at prepper camp, I'm going to see you in a month. 54% said whole home solar with a battery bank. And if you guys remember Jeff, I had on here a couple of months ago now, fellow Canadian, also into emergency preparedness, smart dude. He had an awesome comment on there, and his handle on just about everywhere is inside my canoe head, which is a kind of a Canadian. Anyway, it's a very obscure Canadian reference. This is what he said. He said, the solar system is the foundation upon which I would be able to support all other homestead operations. Energy is the principal pillar in all systems. Energy can support a well, water distribution to crops, long-term food storage. It doesn't require a freeze dryer, the quintessential element of life. And I was like, yep, you just ruined my poll. Thanks, Jeff. No, not really, but he's not wrong. Honestly, if you don't have energy, you don't have anything. And, a generator with a year's supply of fuel, not a bad thing to have, but a whole house solar system with battery backup, that's like the infinite energy glitch for at least 10 or 15 years, I'm thinking. You could probably limp a system like that along a long time off-grid completely. This one was, and then, of course, I did respond to him. I said, look at you being all practical. But like I said, the 14-year-old boy in me really wants a bunker because they're just damn cool. And they're literally cool because Trekkie Girl said, I'd love to live in an underground bunker all summer to stay cool. We live in Houston, and it was 108 the other day. Whew. It was 37 this morning here, guys, just so you know. Said I'd save money not running the AC 24/7 to put in the full solar system quickly enough. Good point. Kind of reminds me of those... if you guys followed back on the very first Stranger Than Fiction section I did about those meth heads that were living in a bunker underneath of an RV facility in Arizona. Yeah, they were smart. They knew how to, they're ingenious. Let's put it that way. Redbeard 685. This one was cool. Said, honestly, above all of the above, I would like. However, I would rather have the solar with batteries and the generators with fuel. Every data center for the multiple industries I've supported over the years have had multiple ways of creating power, but the main fallback was always generator with batteries, just holding the power up during the transition between sources. A lot of preparedness-minded people need to look into the Uptime Institute. So I mentioned this because I'm probably going to follow up with a segment on them down the road. I've got them in one of my tabs now because I hadn't heard of them before, to see the standard they have in place. It'll put a lot of things into perspective of what industry and government facilities have in ways of staying up without the grid. It's fascinating and why some industries harp on their N+ rating. I didn't Google N+, but I assume that's to do with uptime. I thought that was pretty cool. Jules says, fuel is going to run out eventually, so you definitely need solar backup. An underground bunker would be awesome. Yeah, it would. I would love an underground bunker. When my brother-in-law was looking at purchasing the house, kitty cornered us in the back alley, I joked that we would each build a little bunker under our garages, and we'd build an underground tunnel underneath the alleyway, but somebody else bought the house. So 105 heat for the past month is ridiculous. I bet it is, Jules. We've barely hit that. We hit it 2 days ago, and now last night I woke up, had the window open about 6 a.m, felt pretty chilly. I checked the phone, and it was 3 degrees Celsius, which was 37 Fahrenheit this morning. It got hot during the day, but good to see you, Jake from Ravenwood. All right, so the next poll I ran, and I like this one a lot. One Step Closer says, can I get a secret entrance to the bunker like Batman had? Only if you have a waterfall or a cliff that you can drive straight into. But yeah, why not? Have you ever read Atlas Shrugged? And they had I assume it was some sort of video projector that kind of projected up into the sky so they couldn't see it, but that would work pretty good too. Hey, Mitch, good to have you. So next one I did, question to the community was, are all your cordless tools one brand? Answers were yes, no, I have a main brand with a couple of others, no, I have a mix of brands, or all of my tools have cords. You know what? I put that one on as a bit of a joke, and I had an answer. So I had to kind of pull that back a little bit because somebody did actually say, yeah, I'm still a corded guy. And I get it. I do. For a lot of years, I was like corded all the way, man. But so 3% said all my tools have cords. 16% said, no, I have a mix of brands. 34% said I have one main brand with a couple of others. And 47% said, yep, all my cordless tools are one brand. And the numbers broke down like this. 2 people had Ridgid, 6 people had Milwaukee, and 12 people had DeWalt. Now, I got to say, the results are probably a little bit skewed because a significant portion of the people who would have found my community would have been there because of my DeWalt review videos. So that doesn't mean that it's a reflection of the community in general. It just means it's a reflection of good taste and awesome choice in tool. No, I'm just kidding. People who have found my videos. But the reason I wanted to share this was because over time, anytime I get asked a cordless tool question, whether it's on here or for the Expert Council and the Survival Podcast, I always say, yeah, I'm a DeWalt guy, but what I am more than anything else is a fan of a single battery ecosystem because I love standardization, whether it's with a caliber, whether you got you get your 308, a 9mm, 12 gauge, and a 22, or 5.56, whatever you're into, right? It's more important to standardize than it is to debate over the merits of one caliper over the other. Same with batteries. To me, it's way more important to be standardized on a single platform than it is to say, Yeah, I know DeWalt's better than Milwaukee. I mean, even if it is, right? We're not going to say it that DeWalt's better than Milwaukee. I know this, But anyway, so Stonehand 66 said DeWalt, other brands of corded tools, but everything cordless is DeWalt. Easier for battery management. I have a row of chargers and always have a good supply of fully charged batteries. Dirt Poor Homestead said Milwaukee, because that happens to be what I started with. Bam Ranch, Milwaukee, no loyalty, just invest it in batteries. Prep to Adventure, Milwaukee, and a couple of Ryobi with battery adapters. So I got a ton of responses from other people who say the reason they're with the brand of tool they're with now is because that's the one they picked at the beginning. 100% the case for me as well. 3-4 years ago now at Christmas time, my wife got me a really nice set. It was an impact driver and a drill combo of DeWalt. And once you're on a battery ecosystem, boy, it's hard to switch because you're already into it. It's like the guys that learn that pick up smoking in high school, and they go in and somebody says, well, what kind do you want? I don't know, Marlboro. And then you smoke Marlboro and you're stuck to them to the end of your life, right? It's just, that's the way these battery packs work. So once you get in on one, you can branch out into other tools. And that's like Prep to Adventure, Milwaukee with some Ryobi adapters. Those are great. I've discovered those. I need to pick up a few more because I would love to have some. Some of the new Milwaukee gear is awesome. Ravenwood Acres says, I guess I'm the outcast. I have Porter Cable and DeWalt, working toward 100% DeWalt for my cordless stuff. Yeah, and like I said, I joke, but when it comes down to it, as preppers, standardization is great. We even used to do it with our mason jars. When we canned a lot, I standardized on the standard. Oh boy, too many standards. On the standard size mason jar, just simply because I liked dealing with those. A lot of people like to go back and forth. Some people love the wide mouth, jerry cans or gasoline cans. Up here we have Scepter and Wedco, and I have standardized on Scepter because I think they're the superior product. And what I like about it is if I pop a hole in one, I can save the nozzle, the vent cap, the lid, all of that for the other one. Or if I want to buy replacement rubbers for the seals, I buy one type. I don't have to worry. Are they going to fit? Are they going to be interchangeable? One Step says Hercules with some Bauer tools for the less used stuff. Yeah. And Harbor Freight makes great gear. I think it was Clark the other day in the Telegram group was asking what I thought of the Harbor Freight. I got Bauer. I started making a list of the Bauer stuff I have, and it's more than I actually thought. Probably more than I should admit, but I enjoy their stuff. So if anybody out there does want to get on live tonight, you can. If not, we're good with that too. I'll throw the link up one more time in the chat box there if you end up wanting to come on for a few minutes to chat. All right, so cool thing. Before I went live, I had 9,333 subscribers, which means I'm 1/3 the way between 9,000 and 10,000. It took me 15 days to get 333 subscribers, which is pretty exciting. Double that and you get 666 in a month. That's kind of weird. But anyway, so at that pace, 30 days until we hit 10,000. So, which is cool. I put up a post. We're going to do a massive trivia night giveaway for the last Friday before I head south. Now, the weird thing is we may not actually quite hit 10,000 before I do. But Tori, yeah, you can talk about absolutely anything. Yeah, that's the beauty of open lines. You can talk about anything you want. You come on and share and we'll, we can bring up anything you want. Okay. So 333 subscribers. So I got, what's that? 667 to go. So the last Saturday before I leave, which is September the 8th. Yep. I put up a poll. What do we want to do? Action films, 80s films, anything else? So I didn't pick. You guys picked 37% 80s films, 37% action films. So we're going to be doing 80s action film trivia that night. Becky and I, probably be 2 or 3 hours long. We're going to have some kick-ass prizes. It's going to be a good time. So that's going to be to celebrate 10K subscribers. We might be a couple of days early. It's going to be kind of weird, but I'd rather celebrate with my wife in person than for us to have to do it over, via a StreamYard link. So yeah, pretty excited. I'm excited. I love that you guys have helped me grow this community, immensely. So yeah. All right. Philip Dove, I like that name for some reason, sent me a message the other day on, I was a review on the Stanley French press coffee maker. And he said, hey, I like the Stanley, but do they make any US made, well-built French press coffee makers? And I thought, well, man, that's got to be a simple answer. I'll just Google it. Well, I spent the next 45 minutes trying to find the dude a US made French press coffee maker. I couldn't find one. If anybody out there knows of a US manufactured coffee press, let me know. There are tons of American companies that sell French press coffee makers, a couple that are even advertised as, I think one was called like the US Press or something like that. And if you go to their website, it says, hey, what makes this a press, a US press? And the guy's like, well, I'm from US. It was invented in the US. But when you dig and dig and dig, it's made in China. So apparently the best ones are made in Japan, from what I read. You would think they'd be made in France. But anyhow, I could not find an American-made French press. So if anybody knows of one, share one. And what does Brian say about that? Yeah, exactly, because I know he loves his French presses. Haven't talked to him about that yet. But all right, next one that we had this week. So Rosie 5, it's kind of funny. When you start making content, people notice things in videos that you don't think you're necessarily going to notice. And this lady said, hey, Tim, I see you got a neck knife on when you do your videos. Is that a pen on your neck knife? And turns out it's not, but I had to compliment her on having such a good eye. But this is the Streamlight Stylus Pro, USB rechargeable flash. Oh man, that was brighter than I meant it to be. I wear this on my neck knife right next to it all the time because I hate shit in my pockets and I lose shit in my pockets. And this was 100% from Chris Dixon. This come back many, many moons ago. I was bitching about straws at a restaurant. And he said, well, just go get yourself one of those collapsible stainless steel straws. I said, yeah, but then I'd have to carry it in my pocket. And he goes, just clip it on your neck knife. Well, it turns out I didn't like stainless steel straws, but it did give me the idea to start carrying a flashlight on here. And I use it way more than I ever thought I would. So yeah, there you go, Rosie. Thanks for noticing that. I thought that was pretty astute of you. Alexander Bruns, 8709. I love YouTube names. Great review. Love how you go into details. What's the reason for the large amount of negative reviews on the DeWalt electric mowers? Basically, the DeWalt products are the only ones having 2 or 3 out of 5 stars when looking at them on DeWalt or the Home Depot. That's really throwing me off compared to others. Seems to be a bit of a hit or a miss situation. And if you've watched, I actually have a 2-year later review on that exact mower in the queue waiting to come live while I'm away. I love the DeWalt cordless mower. It's not a solution for everybody. If you have more than a half-acre lawn, if you live on a homestead, if you like to let your lawn grow knee-high to an elephant, a cordless mower isn't for you. But what are the bad reviews? From what I've read, the first bunch are people who overestimated what a cordless lawnmower is going to do. And that's legit. If they're disappointed, they should definitely give it a bad review. But the other problem was, especially early on when these mowers came out, DeWalt had a horrible issue with quality control on their mowers. Horrible, just awful. So what ended up happening was it looked like about 10% of the mowers wouldn't work out of the box, or within 10 to 15 minutes of running them, the engine would quit. And not just like, okay, I'll restart it. No, like dead. I had a couple of weed whippers do that on me. So that's what really hurt them. It seems like they fixed the problem, whatever it was, but that looks really shitty on a company when brand new stuff out of the box just dies like that. Horrible, awful. So anyway, I love the product. 3 summers, 2 years on 2 mowers with 4 batteries, and I've loved them. I mean, it hasn't got the workout this year that it got other years, but it's always been good to us. All right. Next, this one came from True Knob. What a name. So if you Red Johnson, hey, I don't know who you are, but thank you. Said Red Johnson, because of you, Tim, I have a full yard setup of DeWalt equipment now. All works great. Thanks, Brother Red. That makes my day. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit more further down in my notes tonight, because there's been a big argument over on TikTok the last couple of days. I've basically stayed out of it, but my DeWalt mower video over there has, I wouldn't say blown up, but it's at like 20,000 views. So it's enough that people are starting to interact on it. And lately, my videos have just been causing arguments everywhere. It's kind of fun to watch, but you get two people you'll get comment after comment. And I'm like, to be fair, don't you have anything else you could do? But hey, here you go. Red Johnson said pole saw and pole hedge trimmer are a game changer. Yes, they are. I have notes done up to do a 3-year later hedge trimmer review video. And I'll be honest, when I bought that, I liked it, but I didn't think it would last. It has that articulating head. If they did away with that altogether, it'd be perfect, because the place where it has positive indents and stops, really chintzy. But I just used it yesterday to trim, had it fully extended with all 3 pieces, trimming a tree at the daycare, and it's still holding up great. I was just saying to Becky yesterday morning that I think it finally needs to be sharpened, and I have used that a lot. And it's just great. There's no winterizing. There's no cussing under my breath or cussing out loud, but yeah, I love it. So thanks, Red. It's great to have you over on Facebook. We have been, I got to say, the Facebook stream has been blowing up lately. We had the last 3 or 4 episodes did 100 to 200 views during the live stream. We had a couple of shows where we hit 48 to 50 live viewers. I think it was 49 might have been the highest, but it was a new record. So love you guys. I appreciate it. And I also hope that the people that listen to the recording of this like hearing this interaction as well. It's not going away, but it's good to hear. I like getting a little feedback on it. So thanks, Red, for stopping in. And actually, Red Johnson, I was thinking that if you flip it around, Johnson Red is a type of not hedge trimmer, a type of chainsaw. So I always like that brand. I think Husqvarna owns it now. One Step Closer said fewer gas engines is to maintain is a great strategy. And Byron Roberts, hey Byron, over on Facebook says, my son has the cheapest Harbor Freight line of battery pole trimmers. It surprised me how good it works. So I bought last time I was in the States, because I know you guys are going to find it hard to believe that I went to Harbor Freight again, of course. But they had this little tiny hedge trimmer. It's like a mini hedge trimmer. And it has, for those who can't see because you're on audio only, it looks like 4 fingers coming out and the blades go back and forth. That thing is awesome for pruning and trimming. It made such quick work of cutting down the comfrey out in the box. Anyway, I love those little things. And Backwoods Butcher said, I got my new favorite comment the other day. A woman commented, why? Just why on a TikTok. Was that the video, Backwoods, where you were driving the tractor? I'm guessing it probably was. I enjoyed that video quite a bit. But I got a good one over there today. Somebody called me Tim the Tool Bag. I thought, you know what? That's pretty ingenious. I'll give you that one. If they'd have pissed me off, I'd have probably turned him into a coupon code. But it was just too damn ingenious to not laugh at. I like that quite a bit. So anybody wants to call me Tim the Tool Bag, feel free. All right. So next one. I think I screwed up. So just working my way through these notes. I put out a video a couple of weeks ago on the 7-watt Harbor Freight solar panel. And I could not get it to charge at all. I was getting madder and madder and madder the longer I did the video. And I thought, this thing's fucked up. It must be broken. It's not working. It's just a piece of shit right out of the box. So I give it a pretty bad review. And I kept trying to charge it. But I made a mistake. I only tried to charge using the USB port. And I only tried to charge using my iPhone. I didn't do what I normally do, and that's eliminate things and test different options to see if it would work. Somebody called me out on it in the comments. I mean, it wasn't a mean one, but they said, hey, did you check it with a voltmeter? Was it producing anything? And you know what? I didn't. I had just ordered that new Klein Tool voltmeter, which I love, guys. I used to buy these little USB adapters that would plug into USB ports, and it would tell you the voltage, the amperage, and that kind of thing. but they weren't super reliable, and they're really tiny, and they plug right into the port, so they don't get them out for you to see. So I spent $70 on this nice new Klein one. It has two pigtails coming off it, a USB-C and a USB-A. And it's wonderful because it acts as a pass-through. It has a nice big screen, and it will tell you the voltage and the amps and everything running through it at any given time. So I've been tinkering with that panel again, and I seem to be getting voltage coming out of it. So I'm going to redo this video. I'm going to do some more testing. And the reason this came about was I also bought a 1.5 watt solar panel with suction cups on it that is about the size of your sun visor in a vehicle. And I was testing it, and I was getting really good. Like, what was it? It was 1.5 watts. I was getting about 20 volts coming through it, which was more than it was supposed to be. But it was giving me a really good reading coming through there. So I'm going to frig with it. I'm going to go back. I'm going to retest it. And if the results differ, I'm going to take that video down and I'm going to upload this video. If they don't, then I'll just have a second video to put up. But so I started testing it with the voltmeter, and I am getting some power coming out of that little USB adapter. Now, I did swap out the cords, so it wasn't the cord, but I think it just didn't play nice with my iPhone. So I'm going to try it with some other USB devices, and we're going to see where we end up. But kind of interesting. I like when I screw up. It keeps me honest. So there was that. This one was the reason. This is from Run Gun RC 1991. And this is a question I get all the time. And they said, Tim, where'd you get your shirt from? And it wasn't one of these. I'm wearing the Unfuckawithable shirt from John Willis tonight. But this was one of my graphic tees that I wear. And of course, I know you're going to find this hard to believe, but I shop at a big and tall shop. So in Canada, if you're in Canada and you're looking for nice graphic tees, and, you know, just for tall, skinny dudes too, and tall, fat guys like me, but it's a store called George Richards, and they have some of the best graphic tees out there. So I know 80% of the people, 90% listen to this don't care, but there's 10% who are like, finally, I can get some good shirts. Because when I first started shopping there, it made me feel pretty damn good. Okay. This one comes from Leandro 6253. I don't know what the rest is, but says regarding inverter generators, said, hello, Sir Tim. I'm like, I've never been called Sir Tim before, but thank you. I haven't been knighted yet, but I'm working on it. Hello, Sir Tim. Thank you so much for this info. But I was wondering about the maintenance of both generators. Is it the same, or is it cheaper or more expensive? And I thought, that should, I kind of figured I knew the answer to that. And turns out I was correct, but I had to dig a little just to make sure I knew. So inverter generators, I've got a couple of videos on the differences between inverter and conventional generators. And as far as the maintenance goes, for the most part, they're identical. There are a few studies I found that basically said inverter generators are less maintenance because they last longer because they don't run as hard. But it wasn't really for sure. But when it comes down to it, you heard me recommend already tonight, but the deal is run your generator every 2 to 3 months for 15 to 20 minutes with a load on it. If you do that, that's all you need to do. Once a year, you're going to change the oil, whether it needs it or not, or every 100 hours if you're running it a lot. You're going to inspect the air filter. You're going to inspect and probably replace the spark plug because that's the cheapest insurance you can get. So it's that air filter, change the oil, spark plug, run it every 3 months. You're going to add some seafoam or some fuel stabilizer. That's all you're going to do. And that's the same no matter what type of generator you have, whether it's a whole home, whether it's an open frame, or whether it's an inverter generator. Now, beyond that, sure, you can do a little extra work with it. But yeah, no real difference. S. Boyle, 8850 asks, hey, Tim, any update on your solar panels? And I look back and I realized it's been almost 2 years since I bought those solar panels. I did 2 videos early on and never another update. Well, there's not much to tell you, but I am going to do a video update on it. But I thought I'd let you know. 2 years ago, 2 years ago in October, I bought the EcoWorthy 200-watt solar kit on Amazon. Comes with, I know it's going to be crazy, 2 100-watt solar panels, the cables you need, and a charge controller. And that has been awesome. So I bought that. I built a frame for it. I set it up on my storage container. It has 45-degree view of the southern exposure. It does really well year round, even when it's, very cold, and the sun just basically comes up at the horizon and moves across. Still do pretty good with it. I built a 4-battery Group 27 deep cycle RV battery bank. I built a 3/4-inch plywood box. I insulated it with 1.5-inch blue foam, and I bought a 1,500-watt pure sine wave inverter. Put it on the other side, and it has worked. Of course, I'm going to knock on wood. Perfectly ever since. No, and I just knocked, and now my dogs are going crazy upstairs. You won't be able to hear them, but it's insulated in here now. Worked great. I have charged 100% of my DeWalt batteries for the last 2 years off of it without ever depleting the battery, without the capacity even a little bit. I put so my main line coming into my garage, I broke into that line and I turned it into a male and female. So it's basically now in line. I put one of those single outlet plugs, they're like a blackish brown surface mount plug. So I have that as an outlet and the plug plugged in, and that runs 99% of the time. If the power's out or I want to run my garage off of solar, I just unplug it from the wall, plug it into my inverter, and Bob's your uncle. And I've tested it before. I have 8 100-watt equivalent LED bulbs in the ceiling. I have an 85-watt LED light bar shop light above my workbench. And I have I don't remember what the size of it is, but one of those big ceiling mount natural gas furnaces. And I can run everything I want off of solar. Now, if I tried to run that heater for a day, it would probably deplete it. But if it's a typical 3 to 4 hour outage or half a day outage, I could definitely keep my garage above freezing off of solar for quite some time. So anyway, I'm going to do an upgrade on it, or an update video, but the EcoWorthy's been great. I keep swearing that I'm going to add 2 more panels. I don't really need it yet because I don't ever, go through all of the power that I have stored, but it was a great purchase on my part for sure. All right, what do we got next? Okay, so this was the thing I wanted to share with you guys. And I said there was a big discussion, debate, whatever you want to call it. And if you guys have any other comments or questions you want to throw up on the screen here for discussion, I'm good to go for a while yet if you want, guys. So no loss here on my end. But people were getting pretty snarky on there. I almost should have opened it up and read you all the comments, but you know what? Maybe I will. Let's see if we can do this without playing music for you guys. Give me a second here. So it's my video on say goodbye to corded or gas powered mower. It really pissed people off for some reason, and I thought that was kind of funny. So it's got 22,500 views. So let's bring this over here, and I'm going to bring up the comments and read a few to you because they're kind of humorous. So if we go, so this guy Jizz Winner says my electric mower is so convenient, and I used to own a lawn care company. No gas, no pull start, quiet. It's great for a smaller lawn. So that's 100% for sure. That's what I like, those kind of comments. But let me slide back just a little bit because you guys know I love the DeWalt cordless lawn care gear. It's been great to me. I have real world experience of 3 to 4 years, depending on which piece of gear it is. But I would never force anybody to switch to gas. I think that's stupid. And you know me, I'm pro-choice, individual freedom for everything. But it doesn't have to be an either or. Just because I do a video like this doesn't mean that I'm telling people, damn you, I'm coming for your gas mower and I'm going to kick you in the head because you use one. No, it doesn't. But it doesn't have to be binary. It doesn't have to be 1 or 0, yes or no. It can be somewhere in the middle. So anyway, what do we got here? So I respond. I said, I'm not 100% pro battery by any means, but I still have a lot of gas gear. But the DeWalt mower is $599, not $1,300. So let me bring this in here in just a minute. Hey, Random Rick Reviews, great to have you again. We picked him up, or he came by the other night over on Twitch, and I remember you. Great to see you. He said, I had a corded electric mower in the early 2000s, and it was a pain. I'm going to do you one better. No, I'm not going to be a dick, but I had a corded electric mower in the early 2010s, and it was a royal pain in the ass. The thing was underpowered. It was too small, and I would consistently run over the extension cord. So, but battery is a whole nother game. So let's see if we can find a couple of these fun ones here. This guy says, I laugh seeing people with their electric mowers. They are so hard to push gas all the way. Hey, and we have a guy in the green room. We're going to bring him on in just a minute. So anyway, the cordless ones I have push like a dream. But I wanted to share with you, if I can find it here right quick. So this guy, okay, two things. This guy said, I have had my gas mower for 20 years. How many batteries would I have gone through? So I had to be a bit of a, you know what, and say, just trying to tell you, the average American mows 26 times a year. That's 6 months of the year. Now, some people mow more, some people mow less, but the average American mows 26 times a year, half an acre lawn. A DeWalt battery lasts 300 to 500 charges. So just going to say that on average, 12 to 19 years, that battery should last. Now, it may or may not, but yeah, you know how it is. So, and then this guy says, just pop in another $900 battery that will die in a year. No trade-off whatsoever. Well, they're not $900 and they won't die in a year. So anyway, that's enough of that. I just thought it was funny. I might have lost him. We have Nat. Oh, there he is. Hang on. Nat got in the background first, and then we got Tori on deck. So if you can hang in there, Tori, if you can hear me, you're all set. So Nat, the gentleman that I used to call Nate, absolutely not on purpose. I don't know if he can hear me. He looks like he is. Nope. He has crime scene tape right behind him. He's totally good. So, sir, you're going to have to turn your radio down in the background. You're on the air. Yes. This is Nat from east of the Rockies. How are you today, sir? And he's coming. It's okay. I'll just keep filling in. But yeah, so I'm going to do my best Art Bell impersonation, and we will. Yeah, he's okay. Take your time, brother. So yeah, as far as all good. Not yet. Oh, hang on.
I think so.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah,
right.
It was me. I turned my speaker down.
Well, I put on my headphones and they wouldn't work.
That's okay. That's just me. I turned my speaker down so we wouldn't get any feedback from TikTok, and then I didn't get any feedback from Nat. So how are you, brother?
Good, Tim. How are you?
Not bad at all. What have you been up to?
Oh, a bit.
Yeah, you had a baby. Well, you didn't personally have a baby, but I think your significant other did, correct?
Yeah, twins.
I forgot it was twins. That's right.
A couple months ago.
Double the fun. Yes.
My basement flooded yesterday.
Are you serious?
Well, kind of. I mean, it was like an inch deep or something.
Well,
so we have a bunch of like brass fittings.
Yep.
Everywhere. They're just like corroding like crazy. I've replaced like over a dozen of them since we've moved here. But one of them really was just spraying some water. So I had to turn that off and empty out the basement, dry things off. Fortunately, all of our food storage is either up on shelves or some plastic containers. Like everything's good to go. But man, we're going to have to probably get a plumber in here to just systematically go through and replace them all. I've been doing like the shark bite ones.
Oh, so those right there, do you still have the fitting? Can you hold that up again? So that's just a PEX crimp fitting, right?
Yeah.
That's just a ring. So if you want to do that and save a lot of money, you can buy yourself a PEX crimper like that for $40-50 at the most right now, American. Have you used them before?
I've used them before, and
okay.
I bought a bunch of shark bite because I was like, oh, okay, we're not gonna have that many, but I've had so many, like over a dozen.
You can buy. You could have paid for a set of crimpers on how much you spend on shark bite fittings.
I know.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
So what's causing it?
They're just old and corroded. We don't have like a water softener or anything. We're on a well. But actually, I found out from some neighbors that the builders here in our neighborhood, there was like a class action lawsuit against them. But we missed there was a window, and we weren't living here at the time. So whoever was living here didn't take advantage of getting all the repairs for free.
So what was the class action lawsuit pertaining to? Do you know?
To these fittings, because everyone was having them. Yeah. So they anyone who took part of that got all the fittings replaced.
I believe it. Chris Dixon just said that's a PEX on brass and they fail like mad. Time to think about starting over with some lines.
Yeah.
I had the exact same thing. My son said he rents from us next door. And he said, Dad, I haven't had good water pressure. What's going on? And I go in the basement and there's an inch of water in the basement and it smells like like a pool in there, just because, anyway, it had been, the brass had broken, was 3/4 broken. The water was basically just pouring out on the floor, and that they don't like hard water or anything with any kind of minerals in it over
Right.
time. So I love PEX. I do. I'm a huge fan, but I think we're going to see a lot of failures over the next few years because
I know.
like when was that house built?
Oh, early 2000s probably.
Okay, yeah. So we're getting on 20. That's hard to believe. That doesn't even sound right. That's 50 years, does it?
No. Yeah, it's pretty lousy that our house was built the last 20 years and that's it.
Well, I knew a guy. I mean, guys, people get rich. That some people get rich good ways and other anyway. But I knew a really good contractor that I trusted quite well, and he built duplexes and fourplex. He said his money was in fourplexes because 4 units was kind of the sweet spot for investment to return.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he would always sell his properties at 18 years old because around 20 is when everything started failing.
Oh man.
So it's okay. But you did the right thing. You had your stuff in your basement, So nothing, you didn't lose a lot for damage.
No. Yeah, I've got some just like a few items I'm going to throw out, but pretty much everything was good to go.
That's good. And food storage. So you had it.
Yeah. Yeah. No food storage was damaged at all or even touched. Yeah. Nothing got wet.
What do you got on your walls in your basement?
Oh, that's unfinished.
Okay. That's not bad. So did you have to dry thing? You got a fan or anything that you had to dry it up with? Or?
Yeah. I've got a fan blowing right now.
We have to go through insurance or probably not?
No. I caught it. I couldn't have been going more than a few hours. I mean, there was a pretty steady stream of water. So half the basement was wet, but got everything moved out and it dried up real quick. So nice. even the walls, like the wall into the garage, it didn't go above the board, the 2x4 that's there. Kind of hit that, and that's where I've been making sure it's dry the most. But
would you do anything different?
I'm calling a plumber to come take a look, give us a quote on.
Yeah.
No, everything. Maybe just be more proactive because I've noticed I've made so many replacements to those that I should have just taken care of them all at once. But in hindsight, at least they're exposed, so it won't be. You don't have to tear down like a drop ceiling or drywall to do. Yeah. That. Well, at least in the basement they're exposed. I've got a few holes throughout the house.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
No, it's good. It's good. We luckily nothing ever has been too damaged.
Well, I have you on. So I've been doing roundtable episodes lately. A little bit. We did one with butchers, and we're going to do a content creation one coming up in the new year. I was thinking about doing an emergency management one, maybe with you and Jeff, and maybe I don't know who else I was thinking. Maybe was Jeff as well, the documentary filmmaker? I can't think of his name right now.
George
Siegel. George's going to shoot me and be like, "Tim, you forgot my name." Yeah. Anyway, I was thinking that might be fun if you were up for it sometime. We can make it work.
You bet.
As long as you guys don't get into a fight or anything,
No.
So what are you gonna? I better. I've been limiting everybody to 10 minutes. I love having you on, and I appreciate. No, you're good. But what are you speaking on at Prepper Camp, or are you this year?
I'm not speaking this year. Nope, just going as a guest.
Nice.
Get to hang out, take some more classes. I'm looking forward to, especially the Mike Shelby's class on the area study.
Yes. So if anybody knows Mike, I did reach out to him already. I'd like to get a sit-down interview with him for a half hour at the thing. So I hope to hear back, but I'm just going to leave it out there. He's top of the list for somebody I want to sit down and talk to this time. But
yeah, for sure.
I think he'd be a cool dude to pick his brain, eh?
Yeah. So this weekend I get to go to Indiana and teach a preparedness class. It's at a workshop, like a woodworking school, but they do all sorts of things, different classes, and I get to go teach a preparedness class for the weekend. So is it a warm audience, a cold audience, or somewhere in between? I don't know. I don't know who's people had to sign up for it. Okay. So they're interested. Sign up for it.
fill me in on how it gogoes, brother. I'd like to hear, because that's fun. I did one at my local library earlier this year, and I did not know what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, I have obviously taught a lot of things, but I've been planning this for months. Really looking forward to it. I'm really excited. We're gonna do we're gonna play with fire extinguishers. We'll pull out some of the different types of food storage and see what they look like, and different methods, water purification, all that sort of thing. So it's like a home preparedness class.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I like it. That'll be good.
Yeah.
People need to hear that stuff. They really do.
Yeah. No, it's I'm trying to just like consolidate everything that I've taught and just like distill the most valuable, most important stuff.
It's funny how we as we get older and we get, you got to go along to figure it all out. You know what I mean? Like you got to, it's like the older you get, the more you learn, the more you can simplify it. But I don't know. It's just hard to get it all out, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I've had like a running checklist, writing all my thoughts down, and then just.
That's awesome. So plug your stuff. How can somebody find you, Nat, if they want to hear anything that you have to say?
The Preparedness Guy, most everywhere. I'm here on YouTube. Instagram is where I'm most active. Twitter is where I'm least active, or whatever they call it now. But I'm there everywhere. So the Preparedness Guy, preparednessguy.com is my website.
Perfect. Are you going to be at Prepper Camp for the whole weekend or just a day?
I'll be there the whole weekend. Yeah.
Okay. We should sit down and do a little interview or something. You and I.
It'd be great.
Perfect. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Tim.
Have a good night.
See ya.
Hi, Tori.
Well, that was quick.
I did all right. Yeah, I tried to get you up and going. How you been?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. I was wondering how you've been. I haven't seen you in a little while.
Well, okay. So I was doing the last semester of school.
Yeah.
And it was Earth Science, and I absolutely adore Earth Science, but it is pretty intense. And it was really funny because I've taken a geology class and an astronomy class. And so this had those along with weather and stuff like that. And so some of it was review, but other parts just made my brain hurt. So
how'd you do? Oh, who's that behind you?
Ab.
Hey, sweetie, how are you?
Good.
You look about 10 years older than last time I saw you.
I'm 12 now.
Whoa, my goodness. Well, I'm still 42, so you're doing all right.
You.
Where's Mr. Man? Is he around?
He is. Monkey.
You want to see Toolman Tim?
Toolman Tim wants to see you.
So how'd you do on your course, Tori?
Just coming up.
So I sort of dicked around in it. So the course, it's an online course, and it has this part where you can put in potential grades and see what your overall grade would be.
Okay.
So I knew at some point in time that, what my grade was getting as we got closer and closer, and I didn't do my final project because I didn't need to, and I got a low B, and that was good.
Whatever. That's fine.
I just wanted to pass and get it done and over with. So
hey, between you, me, there's nobody else listening, right? No, I didn't do my final paper for university. Don't feel bad. I probably should have, and I think anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so there you go. No big deal.
So Monkey is sitting right on the other side of my computer monitor.
Oh, hey. Oh,
nobody wants to see up your nose.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I haven't seen you guys since Golden Corral, but it's good to see you.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to come on.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Hey, bud. Hope you're doing good.
He's so funny. Anyways, I'm going to talk to Toolman Tim. Hi.
Hey, bud. Good to see you.
All right. Go finish.
Bye.
I'll do your braid after I do this. 10 minutes.
So what's been new with you, Tori? That's okay.
All right. She wants me to braid her hair so it doesn't get all scraggly as she sleeps on it. So
I have to do the same thing. So.
Oh yeah, you've got.
Before you get started, I got this. I'm going to share this right quick because this is awesome. This came from Red Johnson again, and he said, "Hey, you, Tim, Spirko, and Willis. That's pretty elite company there. But Jack Spirko and John Willis and the rest of the gang have helped myself start my own yard maintenance business, Johnston's Yard Maintenance. That is a rock solid sounding name. I love it. As well as another follower of yours, Justin Hyder, starting his own handyman business. I've seen this one around JH Repairs and Woodwork. Thank you to you guys for constantly riding our listening asses to just get out there and do it in life. Hey, it's nothing to do with me. You did it. So thank you. I love it. I'm going to, while we're on here, you know what? I'm just going to pull my phone out and take a picture of that. There we go. And we got, yep, there we are. Thank you, Red, for sharing that. It's perfect time. So,
There are literally people watching.
You're okay. There's like 12 million people watching right now, so don't get nervous, buddy. No, I'm just kidding.
This is Abby. What do you want to tell Tim?
Oh,
I'm dyeing my hair light blue.
She's gonna dye her hair light blue.
I did too, but nobody noticed because they didn't have any hair. So there you go.
Just laughing at you. At least my kids don't call everyone boomers because they know better.
That's true. Charlie knows if she wants to piss me off, she calls me a millennial. I grew up as a Gen Xer, but I'm right on the line. So my daughter, she knows, just gets right under my skin. She says, "Oh, Dad, you're just typical millennial." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll show you millennial." But
I don't want to be called either because I am not.
That's right.
Exactly. All right. So the reason I called.
Yes.
So
you're on the air. Go ahead. No, sorry.
On the Telegram group, I was lamenting about these wildfires that I'm sandwiched in between.
Yeah.
That there's now rumors that it may not have actually been just summer weather, that it was intentionally set because oil-soaked rags were found.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's probably 11 miles from me. And I'm dealing with a couple of different issues. I've got an old dog who's sick. So I'm spending as much time as I can with him this weekend. And so I realized I didn't have my preps done for wildfire stuff, which is, bugging out in general for a variety of things. Like if I was at work and I needed to leave because there was a gas thing or something like that, no problem. I could just grab my backpack and go home. So I was just wondering, like, what are your thoughts to not get overwhelmed on prepping for this sort of thing? And I don't know if Nat's still around, if it's his wheelhouse either, but
he popped out, but that's it. You did. So first I got to say is we do have a pretty damn good group over there on the Telegram group because I come in and I'm like, I missed 30 or 40 messages. And I just went through and I'm like, I can't add anything to this because Tori said, she's like, well, what do I start? Where do I start? Because there's no judgment. My goodness. If you knew some of the things that we are just so behind on, it's, so everybody learns and everybody does something, right? But I don't know. It's tough. So first, I would say, you say, how do I not get overwhelmed? Well, I'd say don't get overwhelmed if you can help it. Because number one, you already know way more shit than the average Joe just by listening, right? You do. Even though you sometimes probably don't think you do, you absolutely do. You're going to make the right decisions even if you just think about it, right? Even without thinking about it, which is good. But for you got your animals figured out, right? You've got, so you have some way to carry your animals safely.
Yeah.
You've got your kids. You have at least one reliable vehicle, right?
Yeah.
You said you may have a second one if you needed it, but
I've got 2 cars. It's just, I don't have 2 drivers. So.
Right. But one for you guys, you and the kids and the animals, right?
Yes.
The next big thing that I would ask anybody is, what direction are the fires moving? Do you know?
It was moving southeasterly, and now the winds have shifted because Hurricane Hillary's on its way. Or at least we're not going to get Hurricane Hillary, but we're going to get that front, right?
Sure.
So the winds have now shifted them. They're starting moving north again.
Right.
And this area is notorious for high winds in general.
As soon as you started messaging, I brought up the map to look at your next 3 to 4 days of wind forecast. And that's what I saw is it was going this way and then it switched this way and then this way, and I was like, okay, well, because you'd mentioned typically you would bug out maybe a mile or 2 away. Was that what it was? You had family or something?
So I've got my sister is a mile north of me. And my mom is a mile south of me. We all, hang out together. And I'm just like, I just don't think that's far enough. But we have property that's 50 miles away.
Okay. In what direction?
Northwest of here.
Okay.
And we probably could have found a route that, past the northern fire to get up there.
Because once you got up there, you would be behind the fires at that point, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
For the most part. Yeah. That's probably a good plan to think about. That's what when Becky and I did this exercise first, and we need to refresh on it again. We've done it every couple of years, but we looked at, for us, almost always the wind is blowing from the west, so it's going west to the east. And so for us, it's wildfires, or we have the big tank farm 30 minutes down the road of oil, right?
Oh.
So if something ever exploded, again, it's going to be coming west to east. So we joked, but we wouldn't go north because we'd end up with Santa Claus, right? So for us, it was going south. So because the faster south you can go, the faster you can get out of the way, right? And for you, as long as, I would think, and I'm not an expert, but we've talked about it a bunch. If you can get northwest and behind the fires, you're probably pretty good. Just as long as you're not taking an undue risk getting too close to a fire. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. If the drive, and then where's everybody else headed? Are we going to hit traffic and stuff like that?
Exactly.
I was lamenting to my bestie because she lives about 3 hours away, and she's on the other side of the fire. And I was like, I can't believe I don't have a paper map.
I know it. I didn't. So, don't feel bad, because last year coming home from SRF, when the Canadian internet company turned my phone off because they said I wasn't paying, because it was 15. Anyway, I've shared the story a bunch of times. They screwed everything up. And Chris just says southwest of you are crazy. Yeah, he's right. Because Chris is southwest of me.
It was like, is Chris down there?
He is. Yeah, he is.
Okay.
So I didn't have a paper map. So I was hooped. All I had was, I was lucky I was able to send a text, but I had no data. So I pulled over and I found a Wi-Fi connection at a McDonald's, and I was able to message Becky, and she got me hooked up. But that was stupid on my part. So we all do it, right? Yeah. But the cool thing is, you've already done these mental exercises, because you're telling me these things. You need reassurance that you're going to do the right, because it's tough when you have little kids and you're also a single parent, right?
Yeah. So far, as far as I can tell.
Okay, good. Whatever. Yeah.
Nobody snuck into my house and claimed them. So.
So you're doing good, right? You've got a plan. You've got options. You have a vehicle. How's your gas tank right now?
On the vehicle, if I didn't have to take any animals, it's got 3/4 of tank. On the vehicle that would take all the animals, it's got a half tank.
Yeah, so 3/4 ain't bad at all. If you top it up before you leave, if you can. How far over? You said 50 miles, right? So yeah. Another thing that I've looked into lately, if you plot your map on Google Maps, if you zoom in, you can look at the color of the road, and it will tell you how thick the traffic is.
Right.
So that helps a lot, because I've used that, usually not to get around traffic, but to at least be prepared to know that I'm going to swear while I sit there for a little while. So, and then,
well, it's like, if it had been California, where I was born and raised, I know all the back roads, because as teenagers, we'd be all
sure, absolutely,
and driving inappropriately in the back roads because the cops aren't there, right? And here, I haven't done that.
Next time you happen to go by a truck stop, if you're there, the kids need to use the bathroom, stop in, look and see if they have an Idaho, Washington back roads atlas. I got one for Alberta, and they're great because they show all the, I'd say logging roads. We don't have any logging roads in the prairies, but up north, but it shows every little goat trail that you could ever find. Cool. So in a worst case scenario, it could get you somewhere. It was like $20 and it was spiral bound, but.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yeah. And do you have a plan to go south if you ever had to? Do you have somewhere you could go if you had to?
Well, if I had to, it'd be all the way to California.
I'd say there's worse places to go, but not really. No, I'm just kidding.
I could go to the Oregon coast. I know somebody there. Although it'd probably shock her if I showed up, but yeah. Sure.
Worst case scenario, do those mental exercises just so you know. And what about your documents and things like that? Do you know where they are? Do you have them?
So that, yes, I have the kids' birth certificates, my birth certificate, my marriage certificate because of the name change.
Yep.
And all my divorce papers are right there on the counter because I usually take them with me to work.
Okay.
Which sounds weird, but I want them with me at all times because somebody broke into my safe and stole the last set that I had.
Okay. Any insurance papers that you should have, or at least so one thing that I've done.
I'm like, oh, that stuff's online. Do I really need that in paper?
Not necessarily. No. No, but just know where you can find it quickly if you ever needed to, or know how to access it, right? Because
Yeah.
I get them to email me a PDF, so I know it's in my file folder somewhere. I could find it, but
I have Allstate for home and auto,
okay.
and they have all the policies and stuff already in the app. So
Okay. Oh,
anytime I
geez,
need to get them, I can get them.
That's good. Really good.
It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I would probably say, yeah, Byron says take some pictures of things. So,
Oh, good idea.
So what Becky and I do, every 3 years, we probably should do it more often. We have on a Google Drive that's password protected. We take pictures of everybody in the family, all the animals, all our prescriptions, registrations for vehicles, insurance papers, all your documents, cards, things like, if everybody got a hold of it, of course they could do something with it. But to me, it's saved my bacon at least twice over the last 3 years by having them. So I put them all in. I just password protect them on a Google Drive document. I don't name it like, Tim's credit card numbers or anything like that, but it's there. I know where to find it very easily. And the most recent time it saved me was when we were flying a year and a half ago. And it was like a 25-minute walk from where I parked to where I had to go get my nose swabbed for COVID. And when I got there, I didn't have my ID with me.
Oops.
They were willing to take a picture of my passport off of my phone. It was nice that they could, but on multiple occasions, things like VIN number for a vehicle, that it's good to have, right? So, but that's all. You're doing great, and you got a plan, and you're ready to leave on a fairly short notice if you need to.
For those things, yeah. And then there's the other stuff, and I'm like, what do I get first? Is it power first? Do I bring a thing for power? Or am I packing clothes and meds first? What's, if I've got this whole list of things to do, what's the top priority?
If it were me, I keep a 5-day supply of my meds, a pair of underwear and socks in a little package in the truck, and some toiletries. So we always say, like, we have that. If you've ever seen the grab and go bag that we take with us to hotels and stuff.
Yes.
We have like a mini version of that stays in the floor of the truck. It's not much, but it would get us by at a gas station shower for 5 days if we had to. And I kind of figure 5 days, I could probably, if I had to leave the house, I could probably get my prescriptions by then if I had to.
Okay.
But no, yeah, you're doing great. It's like me telling Becky, don't be anxious. Don't be overwhelmed. Well, of course you're going to be, but you're still going to do the right thing. You're doing great. You're prepared. You've already talked it through. You've done the mental exercises. And unfortunately, you're dealing with a doggo right now, so.
Well, and then this one who thinks every time I'm on Zoom of any sort, I'm talking to her.
Well, yes, it's more that dogs think you're not talking to them and it pisses them off, right? Hey, Mom, pay attention, so. But you're doing great. You are. And so are you all done your school? I should ask that.
Yeah, school's done. Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, so I got a free tuition through my union benefit.
Nice. Yep.
And the Department of Education with the U.S. Department of Education is canceling those.
Oh, but you're good.
But because I was enrolled, they let me finish. But
awesome.
Apparently this fall semester that's starting was the last one that people were going to be able to do. Otherwise, they would have to start paying. And I'm so glad that I doubled down on my classes to get done.
Proud of you. See,
I was prepping. I saw it coming.
So how can people follow up with you, Tori?
So I have a podcast called The Wandering Ma, and nice. So that's everywhere. It's on Fountain, it's on iTunes, it's on Spotify, Stitcher. And I have a website called thewanderingma.com, but you guys can find me on Instagram at Tori the Wandering Ma if you just want to chit chat and stuff like that.
Excellent. Well, thank you for dropping in. Give your kids a big hug for me, and stay safe. Keep us in. I love the Telegram group. So, don't worry about us, but when you're ready to fill us in, let us know if you have to go anywhere. So
I will. I don't think so. The cold weather and the rain that's coming.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be okay.
We're going to knock on wood quietly so my dogs don't go crazy again. So you're doing good. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Have a great night.
Thanks. You too.
Bye. All right, guys. I don't know if you're ready for the next guest, but east of the Rockies, you're on the air. Could you turn your radio down, sir? Turn your radio down. You're going to need to speak up and sit closer to the phone.
What? Can you hear me? Am I live?
Sir, this is not the radio. What are you calling for? So, how are you, Kyle?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not bad. I see you're kicking ass on TikTok lately.
I'm trying.
You're doing really good. I've seen anyway, every time your video comes up, it has catchy music or,
and that's all I'm trying to do.
Your boxer shorts or something. I don't know what you're doing. So,
yeah, I'm taking advantage of all of the baby pigs I have. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm
taking advantage of them while they're still really cute.
Little bacon. Yeah.
Right.
You're doing really good, man. Just keep it up. Cause whenever your stuff comes on, it catches my eye. You're grabbing hold of the trends and you're doing what you need to do. So
yeah, that cow one, I loved that cow one hanging from the tractor. And it was really a test for me because like with all of my content, like if I don't play it right, it's gone immediately because it's violent, like blood and stuff like that. And so I've been trying to like do black and white filters on everything because I've heard that
sure,
the AI or whatever algorithm sees the red and immediately just boots it.
Right, because they probably think it's, like stuff you used to get on Reddit, right?
And it gets pulled down for animal abuse and stuff like that. And so my favorite comment was the woman going, "Why? Just why?" But then I had a follow-up to that where it was a dude just like, "You need to tell me how and why this happened." And like, I understand animals dying in the field, but like this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, if you took a second and a half to look at my name before you commented, you'd be a pretty good idea of why this cow's dead and hanging from a tractor. Like,
so as soon as I seen it, I assumed you dispatched it in the field and then took it somewhere to handle it. Is that what happened, or did something different? Yeah. No, so I assumed correctly. Okay.
Yeah. No, if the TikTok directly before that one was, I don't even remember what the thing was, but it was like the cow, and then it was the cow hanging from the tractor, like after the fact. So it's like, it's a pretty good idea of what happened to this cow if you just scrolled back one.
I have 100% given up on, how do I want to put this? So, okay, TikTok, everything I put out 60 seconds or less, because that way it fits on all the platforms. And you can, it's a lot of work to put together a coherent video that's 60 seconds long. I'm using AI right now and it seems to be working pretty good for it. I'm happy with it. I don't care. But the thing is, it doesn't matter if it's coherent or not. People take it the wrong way.
Absolutely.
And even if they're 100% wrong, they'll still tell you they're right. So I just, you know what? I've come to the realization, the thing that John Willis told me, he said, if people are arguing on your video, that's good for you because it's giving you traction. Just ignore the assholes and
I thought about it for like, it happened like right as I was leaving for the grocery store, and I'm looking at it and I'm like in the truck with the kids, just like thinking about what I'm going to comment back to them, and I'm like, why? There's how many millions of people on this app? Obviously, this isn't going to hit right for somebody. Like somebody's not going to enjoy this, but a bunch of other people are.
The cool thing is the people that don't like it, you didn't make it for them.
Right. So, exactly. And that's basically what I thought it was freaking hysterical, especially like putting like the sparkly filter on it and like just like a romantic song to it, because it's funny as shit. But
and it was catchy. I mean, sure, I get it. All right. If you're not into that sort of thing, well, you know what? There's a swipe right or a swipe up or a swipe. Not
it's
right.
One motion. It's literally that's it.
That's it. It takes less work to go like this than it does to go.
Yeah. Literally, when you started live tonight, I was going through last night's podcast, editing out clips to do it, and then I was doing that for about an hour and a half, and then you popped on, and I'm like, I'm done. Nice. You were my excuse to jump off. I was like, that's it, because then I know I still need to send those to myself on my phone to edit on there to then get ready for TikTok. And I'm like, I'm done. I can't mentally do this anymore.
Brain's hurting.
Oh yeah.
Did you see, so I forgot to mention this in the notes, guys, for those that are on TikTok content creators, they launched a new feature, and I'm going to play the Canadian card because I don't have it yet. And so, the Canadians, we don't always get it. But Brian got added to it the other day.
Brian's been talking to me about it. I'm trying to figure it out.
Do you have it?
I don't have it yet.
No, neither do I. So, okay, everybody's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Well, what it is, TikTok is awesome for promoting your podcast because,
Mhm.
you know, I look at shorts as commercials at this point. It's a snippet of my content. If people like it, they might come over. If they don't, doesn't matter. But what TikTok's doing, guys, they're letting you upload the full podcast in audio form. You put up a 60-second clip, video clip, like everybody's doing. If somebody's listening to it and they like it, there's now a listen to the podcast button right on the video.
That is awesome.
It's, oh my God. I haven't been this excited for a long time. So
Yeah.
Corey the Ma, I know you didn't come on to talk about this, but we're going to talk about it. There's nobody waiting for you, so we can talk for a while. But so Tori wants to know, and that's what it is. You put your 60-second clip up, somebody likes it. There's going to be a link at the bottom. It's going to be a player built into TikTok so that you don't go off their platform, but somebody still gets to listen to your full length of. So what you do is you link your, an RSS feed. Yep. So you link that to it. TikTok has their own audio player in there, and it just it's beautiful. Yeah,
that's going to be huge. Yeah. Okay, all right, that changes things because Brian's been talking to me about it today, and I've kind of understood, but also like I have no idea. I don't have it. I don't know what you're doing. So I'm like, all right, if that's the case, because I've been trying to like ramp up the podcast a bit, trying to get more guests, and like I've taken a break from editing out because it's just such a pain in the ass right now. And I'm not at the level where I can like justify spending the money for the AI to do all the editing for me.
100%. I get it.
So I'm like, it takes so much to do it. And I'm like, I've been getting out of it and just trying to put out more like just random farm and slaughter content.
Just raw stuff without spending a lot of, because anyway, like Jack Spirko said for a long time, just get it up there and just do it, and don't worry about the rest.
And that's basically what I'm trying to do right now is just trying to grow everything, and it's working. Like I see it working. I think I'm at like 330 on YouTube, like the last time I checked. And again, this is I think 3 months. Like I've only been at this like 3-4 months, and I was talking to somebody about it the other night. I don't have the frame of reference on like what's good and what's bad. I'm just kind of doing it. So then I talk to people and I'm like, I'm doing all right. Like I'm trying to figure it out. And like Josh is always like, shut the hell up. Like you're doing awesome. You're where most people are at in like a year. And I'm like, all right.
If you can do your best not to compare yourself to anybody else, you'll be happier for it.
Exactly.
I fell into that trap for a long time. So I get it, man.
Yeah. But like I had a YouTube video that was just like kind of like a throw up, kind of like I'm gonna put out some content. Let me skin this pig out, like with this new knife I bought.
Yeah,
it's almost at 10,000 views.
Shit, man.
I'm like, what? Like, how did that even happen? It's weird. I've got a couple more that are at like 1,000 of the piglets, where I'm just like, 1,000 people watched this. That's crazy.
So what did people like about the knife video? What was it that they liked?
I have no idea.
Like, what are the comments saying?
There are no comments. I'm not. Actually, you know what? I didn't even look at the comments. Like, I don't even think I got a bunch of I didn't get any notifications from that.
Was it a short or was it a longer video?
It was a longer video.
Okay. So if you go into YouTube Studio, you can look at the how people found your video. So what you'll do is you'll look at I want to say it's like search keywords.
Okay.
And it will say the words that people searched to find that video. So what you want to do is make another video that has the top search term in the title.
All right.
So make another video using that knife, whatever it is, because especially early on, just keep repeating your success. Whatever you find that works, twist it a little and do it again.
Yeah.
And you'll start to find what works for you, man.
Yeah. The slaughter videos always do well. Like I've just noticed that at this point, like, and it's, again, I'm trying to edit it in a way that I know I'm not going to get pulled down, but also educate. Because that's the main reason I started the YouTube channel, is because like I learned a ton on YouTube, like when I started cutting meat, and there would always be things where I'm like, I want to learn how to do this. No one's posting a video of it. One, because they're just not, or two, if they do post it, it gets taken down.
Right.
So it's like, there are things that I wanted to see done and I couldn't. Like I could only read about it or do whatever. And I'm not that type of learner. I need to see someone do it. And then I can go, oh yeah, that's easy. I got that. So that's the market I'm kind of going for. I used to joke with my wife how like difficult it is to traverse YouTube to find the perfect video, because it's like some of them are completely overproduced and you're really not even going to get what you're actually looking for out of it. Like it's not even going to be feasible for what you're trying to do, or it's the camera like an inch from whatever it's at with somebody in an accent you can't understand, like just trying to do something. But every now and then you just find a gem of a video from some guy who kind of knows angles and what he's doing, and it completely changes everything about what you're trying to build or what you're trying to do, because he said one thing that's like, I am an idiot. Like, how have I been thinking about that wrong this whole time? And this dude with no shoes on just blew my mind.
So another tip, when you find one of those videos, and you probably do this unconsciously anyway, but this is for everybody else out there too. When you find one of those videos that just clicks for you, that two things. Number one, it's an effective video, but typically the people who are going to watch your stuff are basically another Kyle. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and it's the same with me.
That's a terrifying thought.
I know, but it is what it is. So number one, that video speaks to you. So you know that's a quality video. So copy what they're doing. I mean, don't plagiarize it, but look at what they're doing effectively.
Actually, the video I'm talking about, I'm literally copying. I'm doing the same build right now. Like, because this is a video I saw years ago and got the idea for my pig waters. And I'm in the process of doing it again. That it's like, all right, now I'm going to put my spin on it.
Dude, that's, but we all take from everybody else. So last summer, Becky wanted me to learn she wanted me to buy a bunch of those canisters for the Thermacell mosquito things,
Right.
And I'm like, I bet they're refillable. So I watch a bunch of people's videos. And again, same thing. You find one, well, the guy shows you a good system, but the production quality shit. And then you got another guy whose video is incredible, but they don't tell you anything. Right. So you put it all together, you make a good video. That's the entire thrust of YouTube, because you've got millions of people watching stuff. And for some reason, some people like this, crazy butcher in New England. I don't know why, but they do. And then other people like that crazy, ugly looking Canuck that talks on, you know what I mean? Like, so it doesn't matter. They find you.
Someone will find it. Like, that's just it. And it's crazy to have people find it now, because like these past 2 weeks, like, again, you see all my TikToks, it's blanketed all over it that I have the YouTube channel, links in the bio, everything. And I've seen so much growth out of both TikTok and YouTube. I think because of that, and a couple of these videos kind of taken off.
Absolutely,
and it's like,
man.
Perfect. This is awesome.
What do you find? What's the hardest part of making content so far?
Just the time and filming. And like, I'm one of those people that I'm just filming what I'm doing. It's almost more of an educational vlog than it is a YouTube channel, because I'm just literally filming what I'm doing. I don't have to go out of my way to get content. Like, I have to stop myself from filming, because I'm like, no, I need to get this done like now. So it's like the starting and stopping, stuff like that. And right now everything is on my phone. Like, I'm filming everything on my phone. So it's trying to shift angles, do everything. I actually like editing. Like, I'm a bit of a masochist. Like, I like editing the videos themselves, because it's like, all right, I all of a sudden have almost 2 hours of footage from slaughtering this cow or doing whatever. And I break it, like, get it all set into something that's like 40 minutes that has all the hits, like a decent amount of time lapse. But I'm trying to figure out the best ways to like make it so you're not watching me for a full hour and 40 minutes break down a cow, but what you can see can kind of like in your brain kind of go, all right, I see what he's doing there. If it's important, he'll explain it. Pause. Here, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. This, that, and the other thing. More time lapse kind of thing. So we're getting there.
Perfect.
I think the biggest thing that I've taken from other people is like, I don't love the people that it's insanely overproduced, and it's like they might get an Oscar. Like, that in their head, they're going to get an Oscar from how they're talking and acting in this YouTube video. So I talk in my YouTube videos like I'm talking to you, but it's if I'm getting hit by a pig or like fall or something, I'll say we or I'll say us. Like I'll be like, no, you guys are here too. Like,
Right.
because those are the videos I like, where it's just like you have that thing where it's like, all right, if you consistently watch someone for a long period of time, like I've listened to podcasts forever. I have a podcast logo tattooed on my arm. I've hung out with the guys from this podcast forever, not forever, a handful of times. But it's like when you're involved in something where it feels like someone's talking to you and trying to teach you, you have so much more invested in it. You have a way to be like, oh, okay, no, I'm actually going to take time out of my day to go watch that now because like I get this cool feeling this guy like is trying to do whatever. So that's kind of how I went into it, where it's like, I'm not just going to be completely overproduced and fake. I'm going to talk to you like you're standing right next to me and I'm going to give you what I'm going to say. So
you don't do the YouTube voice?
No,
hey guys.
I don't. I don't. The only thing that I've caught that is just stuck now because I did catch it is I say, like, I call everyone kids. I don't know why. So every time I start a video, it's what's going on, kids? Or like every time the camera turns on, that's exactly what I say. I have no idea why. It just happened. But
I look at content like comfort food. And you know, the reason you like comfort food to some extent is, you know, the reason you like biscuits and gravy is because it's motherfucking biscuits and gravy, right?
Right.
You know what you're going to get every time. So that's why I think as content creators, we all develop accent. You know, you have certain ways that you do your intro. You have certain ways that you talk just because that's who you are. And it takes a while to kind of develop your language and your system and everything, but it is still who you are because everybody, they come to you and, you know, whenever I listen to, well, like Jack Spearco, I mean, I've listened to him for absolute years. You know, he mentored me for many years before he even knew who I was.
Right.
But every time I tuned in, you know, I knew that I was getting the survival podcast intro and I knew I was going to hear a certain cadence and a certain way of speaking. And that's what I like. But I don't like the overproduced, because those guys,
it's so much, and
most of them have entire teams behind them.
Exactly, where it's like, and I also, when I edit and I like rewatch my videos, I realize what a dirtbag I am, just down to my core. How many just sexual innuendos are just laced through my videos that I don't even like. I'm not purposely saying what I'm saying, but it's just like I'll just be like, oh god, all right, that's fine, whatever, it is what it is. Like.
I think so that took me a long time. I bet you that took me almost a year to become myself in front of the camera. I did tons of public speaking over the years, but I think you're really excelling at that.
Yeah, I've never done any public speaking. I'm like actually pretty bad at it. So it's the fact that I'm at the point now where I'm like, all right, yeah, no, I'm going to just turn the camera on and start talking somewhat educationally about what I'm doing. And hopefully it works. And I've had so many people, like even people from like my hometown, like I went to high school with, like we went to a birthday party a while back and like 4 people came up. They're like, hey, your YouTube channel is freaking awesome. Like I'm subscribed. And I'm like, what?
That's a good
all
feeling,
right.
isn't it?
Like it's crazy.
You're doing good. You're fine. Like I said, I mean, you are who you are. So it's not difficult,
right.
But
yeah, exactly.
It's still, I mean, how long you been doing it? Just 3 months?
Probably closer to 4 now.
Seems like you've been around for a couple of years now. It's crazy.
I'm also that type of person where it's just like, if I am interested in something and I want to do it, guess what? I'm going to do it. And it's also, I've always looked at it like in jobs and stuff too. I'm not afraid to brown nose. I never have and I never will. Because you know what? It kind of moves you places. Like you just got to know the line of what you're doing. So in every job I've ever been in, I've always made friends with the higher ups, maybe not the exact boss, but the higher ups, and just kind of acted like I'm supposed to be there. So it's like, and then you get to a point where you're just there and you progress from there. So it's like when I came into all this, like I just randomly texted Josh, like after listening to his podcast during deer season when I was in the shop late one night, like, are there any butcher podcasts? Like it was a long day. I was like, whatever. And I started listening to his show, listened to a bunch of them. He had the Telegram chat, jumped into the Telegram chat, and it's like from there, it progressed to me going on his show a bunch, and then going on Brian's show, and then just kind of growing from there. But it went into it with, I'm going to post a bunch of content into this Telegram group. I'm going to actually talk to the community about what's going on. Like, if they have questions as well. Josh loved it because he's like, thank God there's somebody else to answer questions in here. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'll come in and like help with any questions. Like if you're busy and whatever. And then he was finally like, just do it. Like, just do a YouTube channel. And when we did the YouTube channel, he's like, you might as well do a podcast too. It's all going to suck, but like, do it all at once. Like, get this all out of the way. So, and now we're here. Like, I just had episode 18 of my podcast last night. But I'm like, how the hell am I at 18 already? Like, that's crazy to me.
21. If you get to 20, I think it's 21.
You'll appreciate this. Do you know who is the most listened to podcast guest I've had?
Who?
John Dowie.
Of course it was. Yeah.
I've reached out to a couple times, like, you want to come back on?
He's a lot of fun.
He's super fun.
If him and anyway, he is a busy dude.
He's so busy. He is running around.
If you told me at any minute, if you're like, hey Tim, you can start a talk radio show about absolutely nothing, who's your co-host going to be? And I would. Oh
Absolutely.
My God. We have so much fun. I went back to, I don't do this very often. And we were sitting in the living room. Charlotte and I were talking the other night, and she's 13 and she loves stand-up comedy like I do.
Yeah.
And she sends me some of the most inappropriate jokes on TikTok. I love it. It's just, she's my daughter through and through. Right.
Right.
And so I'm like, I don't think you've ever heard Dowie's joke. And she's like, I don't think so. So I played the 20-minute joke about the brick and the dog, and she laughed. That was the best delivery ever.
That was so goddamn funny, because I was cutting that day. I was listening to that podcast. So I was sitting there and I'm at the bench, and now I'm just invested. Like, I'm not even like, I almost cut my finger off because I'm like, what is he saying? Like, what is this joke? This has been such a buildup.
Oh yeah. And if anybody hasn't listened to it, it's back. It was a two-part.
It was a two-parter, yeah.
Yeah, I did it on YouTube. It's a one-part, but there's very few people. I mean, I could go hours with anybody. I could, but there's very few people that I could go 3 hours with, like I did with Dowie, and keep it entertaining for 3 hours. And I don't have to say anything because he could go all night.
Yeah. Yeah. I reached out to him after that podcast. I'm like, hey, I need help. Come on my show.
He's great. He's entertaining. I love having him on, and we get along. We've never met in real life yet. So at some point,
right.
Becky and I were talking the other night. I don't think we're going to do it, but we talked about going out to Nova Scotia when the girls fly out, pick them up when they're done at mom and dad's for the 2 weeks, and then take like a circle around the kind of the East Coast. And I thought I'd come down through, but I don't think it's going to happen. I was thinking it might be nice to come see you and Dowie and everybody, but might be a couple years before we do it, but it'd be nice to have a workshop get together.
When it does, let me know. We got space. If you want to do a meetup here, we can facilitate it. We'll get it.
That would be fun. I would like that.
Oh yeah. We've got 9 acres that people can camp in.
Lots of places to bury bodies. Oh, did I say that out loud? Yeah, no. So what do you got coming up there, Kyle? What are your goals for, let's see. Okay. We're going to be 1st of September before too long. So what would you like to see before 2024 rolls around?
Just to survive. I did my booking today for like the rest of the year for appointments. And I think what I booked today, I booked 17 pigs and 5 more cows on top of my already mostly full cow schedule, and 2 weeks off for deer season.
So you're going to go hunt, are you?
No. That's working for deer season.
I'm
going to try. Deer season is somewhat nice. The first 2 days, I don't have any drop offs until like 10 to 11, because I'm going to put my couple days in of like, I'm going to get up at 4, get out there, see what I can do. Because for here, the hunting season it's not awesome deer hunting up here, but it's the first 2 days is either buck or doe. So I hit it hard of just like whatever I can get. I've never shot a deer, and I've cut up, I don't even know how many at this point. So I'm like, I'm owed one right now.
Your country is
But,
very much like my country where I grew up. I mean, we're not that far from one another, and
no,
so I mean, it's thick woods and sparse deer. Is that the idea? Like
pretty
not
much.
yeah. So
I've got
100-yard shots
I've got them on camera. Oh yeah, you're not shooting 100 yards anywhere,
right?
Unless you're jumping out of your car and running over to that field, you're not shooting 100 yards anywhere.
So everybody jokes, my dad hunted with a 30-30 his whole life. And they're like, well, out here on the prairies, like that thing can't get up and go anywhere. And I'm like, you don't need to. I mean,
No.
50 yards most times in the woods is the most you'd get.
I mean, Jesus, I'm running a 30-06 right now.
Right.
And my stand is like my shooting lanes. I think my farthest shot is maybe 50 yards.
And mine's a 308 and, with a nice scope on it and everything. And the two I shot were over 200 yards. And that was, I mean, I know people that have shot over 400, no problem. And yeah, I mean, when you can watch your dog run away for 3 days, yeah, it's a long ways, but
right.
I hope you get one. It'd be cool. It'd be good to see.
I hope so. But yeah, other than that, just kind of keep everything rolling. I'm excited for deer season for content's sake.
Yes.
I'm definitely going to try and get some more pig videos out, which I have enough of them coming up. But at this point, it's just kind of making sure everyone's content. All my customers are good, and just kind of get it all figured out. I went through everything today, booked everything, and I didn't book my 5 pigs I need to slaughter and my cow I need to slaughter that are outside right now. So I'm like, God damn it. Now I got to figure that out.
So you're basically booked solid till the new year at this point?
Oh yeah.
Wow. So, because this is only year 2 in your business, right? You've been a year and a half. Is that right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah. It'll be 2 years in April of full time.
Yeah. So a year and a half then. So the work you have coming in, is that sufficient, like to pay the bills and everything at this point, or pretty close?
Somewhat. We're getting there. We're starting to get there. Now that I'm in the busy season, it'll be good. But pigs is such a good turnaround, because I know I talked about it on the last podcast.
Don't worry about it.
Turnaround on them is so quick, because on a beef, I actually hang a week less than the average. Usually you hang like a full beef 2 weeks.
Right.
Before you cut it. I break all mine down into either 6 or 8s so that rigor goes faster, everything cools down faster, I'm able to cut it faster. Because again, it's just me my walk-in is like, I think it's 14 by 6 is my walk-in. So I can hold 2 beef comfortably, but that's it. So I need to rotate stuff through to do at least 1 beef a week plus something else. So now it's going into where I have a beef, then I have 6 pigs, but I can cut those 6 pigs the next day. Like, that's the difference. And I can basically break down a pig in a half hour, like half hour, 40 minutes. If it's like a real, lots of chops, lots of this, lots of that.
So you could do 6 to 8 pigs in a day if you needed to?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not asking whether you do this or not, but are you allowed to hang pigs and beef at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
Wild game is where it gets tricky, where it's like people don't want deer being hung with beef.
Is that a personal preference, or is that a bit of a law?
I haven't seen anything with the laws with it.
Okay.
And it's more of a personal preference thing, to my opinion. And I get it. It. So honestly, what I might do is, I've already kind of planned this out in my head. If it's slow, like if I'm not getting a ton of deer in, I'm going to say sorry to half the people that would have brought in deer later in this next week, because I'm only taking 2 weeks off for 2 cut deer. Like, I'm going to put my cow in the freezer, like that I need to cut up, because it's like, sorry, like I'm not making the money that I need to, and I can put half in my freezer and we're bartering with the other half. So I'm like, all right, it is what it is. Like, it's interesting.
It's pretty cool how entrepreneurship and content creation go together, eh?
It really does. Well, it's you have to be somewhat of a creative to be an entrepreneur anyway, because you have to come up with things on the fly sometimes of like, oh my God, what happened? Like, but it really does. It's been going great. I've really enjoyed it. And I'm finally getting into the rhythm and mindset of where it's not taking me more time to do stuff.
Good.
It's kind of going seamless, not seamless, but like better to where I'm already planning 3 like vantage points ahead of where I'm going to film this or do that. And it's like, now that I'm on TikTok, I am like I don't even know. I was going to say a word that would probably not be good for YouTube, but I'm just one of those reference people. So it's like, I can basically recite the movie The Departed to you in full. But like, I have that with every movie. I'm also that person where I'll watch a movie and go, oh, that guy was in something. Hold on, go on IMDb and go, nope, I knew him from that, or I'll just list it off.
Mm-hmm.
So especially when it's getting into like different movie references or songs or stuff like that for TikToks and like funny videos, I'm like, oh, this just weird math happens in my head and funny TikToks come out somehow. I don't know.
I like it. Yeah, we should do this winter. I know you'll be busy, but we should do a couple of I've been thinking about doing some old like post-apocalyptic movies and just do like I don't know, are you old enough to remember Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Mm-mm.
No, I kind of figured.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, so it was a TV show that played on like local access cable in the States, and then it got picked up eventually. And Netflix just did a new season a couple years ago, but they would basically take old movies that were public domain. And so they would project it, and then they would have like a little cutout, and it was like 2 robots and a man that would sit there and make fun of the movie for the whole time. So anyway, it would be fun to do something like that once or twice in the wintertime.
Let me know. I will be there for that.
It'll be fun. We might have to do it off of platform, if you know what I mean. We could do the audio onto YouTube, but there'd be anyway. We'll figure it out. Upset. So, yeah. All right, brother. How do people look? How do they follow you? How do they give you money? How do they support you? Whatever.
You can find me on everything at BackwoodsButcher603. So that's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and you can listen to my podcast, Meet the Critters, on YouTube, anywhere you can download podcasts, essentially Apple or Chrome, and Fountain as well. We are on there as well. So, perfect. And also you can see me at SRF beat the shit out of Josh the Renegade Butcher in our Butcher Off.
You guys are going to beat the meat together?
We're going to beat the meat together. And Nicole keeps telling me to shit talk. So everything I go on, I'm just like, hey, Josh, go to hell. But sorry, just kidding. I love you.
Who's better at beating the meat?
Right.
Who is? I'm asking.
I don't know. We're going to find out.
Well, I'm going to see you in person in less than 2 months, right?
Yeah, it's coming up.
Is your wife coming too or no?
Yep.
Yeah. What about the kids? No. So you got babysitter?
This is our first vacation since before kids.
So you should be able to meet Becky too. So it'll be good. We'll have a good time together.
Perfect. Sounds
perfect. Good. Well, thanks for coming on, Kyle.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Have a good night, brother.
You too.
All right, guys. Well, this was great. I love these open line shows every time I do them. I know I shouldn't be like this at this point, but I can't help it. I love them. I love doing something different. I love the callback to the old talk radio. I say like talk radio doesn't exist anymore. It does, and I love it. And we're going to bring it back. But workshop radio is a wonderful time. I love doing this with you guys. We had 50 minutes of me talking, and then the last hour and 10 minutes was guests. So thank you guys for coming on. I love doing it. In the wintertime, we're going to try to do this once a month. It's a lot of fun. So what do we got coming up this week? It's going to be a messed up week for schedule. You guys already know that. I've told you. You too, Tori. Stay safe out there on the weekend, or in Washington. Weekend's over, but have a good week. So tomorrow morning, 11 p.m., I have William Fortune coming on, the author of 1 Second After. He's coming on to talk about 5 years after, which I'm excited to talk to him about. Last year's interview with him was straight fire, and I'm glad to have him back this year. So he'll be on tomorrow morning. I think you're going to get a recorded episode. Anyway, you're going to get 3 episodes this week. There'll be 3 in the podcast feed. That's what I can promise you. Sunday night will be a live interview. I know that. Friday will be a pre-record, and Thursday will be the William Fortune episode. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for letting me live the life I want to live through this content creation. And thanks for being there. Thanks for being flexible with the schedule in the summertime as we move things around. I'm going to be hitting the road in less than 4 weeks now. But up until once I get back this Sunday, I'll be in studio until I leave. So on the road, the plan will be 2 live shows a week and 1 pre-record. But you know how live events go. But I will be here. I'll be bringing you guys the content. There'll be workshop content 3 times a week the whole time I'm gone. That's part of building the life you want to live. I've got the nice little mobile setup now. You guys are going to get great in-person interviews. I've been working on collecting, as you know. Let's see, who do I have so far? So Paul Wheaton, Nicole Sauce, and John Pugliano are 3 in-person interviews that I've done that I'm saving up. I'm going to edit them, package them really nice, and we're going to have a monthly show throughout the winter. Hopefully I'll have 12 by the time I finish all the events of some nice in-person interviews for you guys that you can't see anywhere else. So it'll be great. So guys, I appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow morning. And as always, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week.